Please do so.
இது நம்மளோட வீடியோ இது போஸ்ட் தேவையில்ல. நம்மளோட வீடியோ மட்டும் தேவையில்ல. சரி ஓகே. யாருக்கு பேசுறாங்க? வேற மேடமா? நம்மளோட மீட் பண்ணணுமா?
டேஸ்ட் பிரஷ் எடுத்து வச்சுக்கோங்க.
லைவ் ஆகுதுண்ணா. யார் பேச போறாங்க?
Priyanka, and over to Dr. Ubaidullah or Priyanka.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for the
Thank you,
warm
ma'am.
welcome.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Here is a brief introduction about the speaker today. Dr. Siba Prasad Reddy is currently working in the division of community pharmacy as proprietor pharmacist and Trastrup Pharmacy, Denmark. He is recently gaining the position of state's authorized chief administrative pharmacist in Trastrup Pharmacy, Denmark. He has also been a part of several bodies for recently just a few names. 10 years, he has been served for 10 years of executive secretary as a forum of the International Pharmaceutical Federation and WHO with National Pharmaceutical Association of the Southeast Asian region. He was awarded PhD in the year of 2017 from Division of Social Pharmacy, University of Helsinki, Finland. His thesis titled The Public Health and Patient Care Aspects in Pharmacy Education and Pharmacists' Role in National Public Health Program in India under the supervision of Professor Marja Araksinen. He has many international and national publications on his credit, and he has made several presentations at professional congresses. So the session is all yours, sir. You can go on with the slides. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Priyanka. Thank you for your kind words and nice introduction. I would like to thank all the participants and the organizers, and especially Dr. Professor Grace Ramanathan, Principal of CL Mehta College, and co-convener Dr. Ubaidullah and his team for making this possible. As Grace Ramanathan ma'am said, this is really good that we could reach each other with the help of technology. And now we are here, almost 100 participants are here, and more are watching on the YouTube. So all credit goes to technology and the people who are making use of it. Ubaidullah, congratulations and thank you. Thank you, ma'am, for having such a nice team. I would now like to make a small presentation about the topic. Let me share the screen here. Yes. Yes. Pharmaceutical career opportunities in Europe, how to prepare and approach. This is very vast topic, but I would like to focus and give brief information as much as I can. And I hope this would be useful for making your career plans for most of the students and recent graduates, if somebody is there and preparing for their career plans in abroad. I myself came here. I completed my studies in India. Actually, I did my master's from Tamil Nadu, and I did work with all different organizations, as Priyanka ma'am introduced. It said in her introduction. Currently, I am working in a community pharmacy as chief pharmacist, and when time comes during my presentation slides, I will explain how I made my career here, how different things helped me to make my career, and different things that you would need to think about while you are making your career plan. I will just briefly tell you about Europe. European continent has 44 countries, and currently 27 countries are part of European Union. EU has 27 countries, excluding UK. After UK has been gone out of from the Union, and EU has a population of 513 million. This is basic demography to just know how big is the continent and how much is the population. You can see from this. These are the countries that are from the EU. Now you can see health workers in European Union. What is the percent? How many health workers are there? There are 14.7 million health workers working throughout Europe, and 78% of them are women population, and 22% are men. Of this 14.7 million, 13% are medical doctors, 31% of healthcare workers are nurses, midwives, and their assistants. 28% of them are personal care workers who are working in old age homes, nursing homes, and care centers. And 28% of them working in other healthcare professionals, and including pharmacists and pharmacy technicians who are coming here. We will see the numbers, actual numbers, how many pharmacists are there in each country, and how many are registered, how many are practicing. We can see the details in the next slides. If you see number of pharmacists in the EU countries, I took these 27 countries, and if you have to understand this slide, Belgium has, for example, 14,000 pharmacists in practice, and approximately per 100,000 inhabitants, there are 123.8 pharmacists. You check Denmark, where I'm presenting from, there are 2,979 pharmacists practicing, and 52 per 100,000 population. This is the entire chart. You can go through every country, how many pharmacists are practicing in the community and hospital pharmacies. I will show you a small data to explain how this number of pharmacists. Here you can see number of practicing pharmacists in this table. In this table, for example, if you take Denmark, there are 2,900 pharmacists, and they are practicing, but in the country there are over 6,000 pharmacists who are registered to practice pharmacy, but they are not practicing. That means maybe they are working in other areas like industry, research, academic, different careers they are making. But there are total available pharmacists are 6,000 in Denmark, for example. If you see country-wide regulation bodies who are regulating all these different countries have different regulating authorities. Like we have our MOH, Ministry of Health, we have our PCI, we have our BCGI, Drug Regulatory Agencies, Industry Health, FDA, all these different kinds of organizations who are regulating the profession, pharmacy sector, are listed in this Excel sheet, where you can see, for example, Federal Office for the Safety of Healthcare is listed in column 2, and in the first column you can see the name of the country, and here the ministry responsible for that. For example, if we take Denmark, the Danish Medicines Agency is responsible for safety of healthcare in the country, and it is coming under Ministry of Health. This is just to explain how the system works here. Like that, we have all the countries have their bodies, regulating body, and ministry that is responsible for it. If you see the number of pharmacies in Europe, the entire Europe, the following are the numbers. If you see the first, Greece, there are 9,500 pharmacies in the country and 88 pharmacies for 100,000 residents. That is the number of pharmacy and pharmacy density in that country. In the same way, you can see all the different countries, but on an average in EU, there are 31 pharmacies per 100,000 residents, and if you take Denmark, there are 8 pharmacies per 100,000 residents, and there are total number of 468 pharmacies that are serving the population here in Denmark. This is a similar slide showing practicing pharmacists. You need to see. Now we will see the career building areas for pharmacists. What are the different sectors in the pharmacy profession that one can choose in Europe? Pharmacy practice is one of the novel and important career area here in Denmark. And in the practice, they have different sectors again, subsectors, community and hospital and clinical pharmacies. And in industry, there are different areas. We will go through them individually. And again, in the government and EU offices, there are opportunities. Professionals are making their careers, and there are other areas like academy and research and national associations, NGO and IT management, IT and database management. All these different career areas, I will go through in detail one by one, sector by sector. Pharmacy practice sector. Pharmacy practice, as I told, it is completely regulated sector, like everywhere in India or in US or as you all aware, this is completely totally regulated sector profession, and it needs registration. One needs to have registration as a registered pharmacist, and also for both for the community and hospital and clinical pharmacy practice. If one has plans to do their career, to take up a career in pharmacy practice, they must have a registration in place. To do so, as foreign graduates, for example, if one of you wants to make your career in pharmacy practice, and you need to have your registration in place. And what are those steps? I have gone through all these steps for several years ago, 12, 13 years ago. I have gone through this process. I will tell you there are some changes through the years, but I will explain you the current status and situation, how one can become a registered pharmacist. Once you have decided to take your career as pharmacy practicing pharmacist in the pharmacy practice, community or hospital pharmacy, you need to select the country where you want to go. Once you select that, you go through the information about the country, about the pay scales, about how the profession is, how they're regulated, how you become a registered pharmacist. You can see that all that information in these from these agencies, like I said here, federal offices, different countries. This is available in EU website, EU portal. This can be downloaded, or you can go to Eurostat.com and find out all this information. Once you decided which country you want to go, for example, Cyprus or Belgium or Austria or Bulgaria or Croatia or Denmark or Estonia or Finland, France, Germany, you go to this website and try to find out the information how to become a registered pharmacist too. Opportunities, process, everything is described. For if you take one country, then you, after selecting the country, you need to send your educational credentials, all your degree certificates, all your equivalency certificate and curriculum, what you have studied throughout the years, and your degree certificate, and in your interest statement of interest, why you want and what you want to do. Once you are done that, you need to find the website that they will you will send the information, and then you will receive a report back saying that okay, now your education credentials, we have evaluated them, and you need to maybe go through some extra courses. You need to take some for example, language requirements, or almost all the countries need to take internship to understand the practice in that particular country that you are moving to, and awareness of laws. What are the laws and regulations? To know all these things, one must do the internship to see the practice. Also, the students who are studying here in these countries, they have obligatory internship for 6 months. In some countries, it is 6 months in one stretch. In some countries, it is 3 months divided in 2 different periods during their graduation period. The countries have 5 years educational requirement, and once you fulfill all these things, then you should be able to do the internship. To do the internship, one must come to these countries that you have selected, and go to the pharmacy, be in the pharmacy, and learn those things, and also participate in the university. It is a 6 months rapid intensive program that is designed and approved by the universities and the regulatory authorities. Once you have done that, during this period, no one will receive any kind of support or financial support to do the internship. No one will pay during this period. That's very important. Saying this, it's important that language requirements is also very important, because if, for example, if somebody has to come in our country and stand from abroad and stand in our pharmacy and serve the patients and do the prescriptions and refills, then we have to communicate with the local population. That means local population will automatically use the local language as their preferred language. So the pharmacies will look into this very carefully before they accept anyone for internship. So before you do your research, you should also always keep in mind which country I am going. Am I going to Ireland? Okay, that's fine. Then they talk English. Am I going to Finland? Then you have to have that knowledge about Finnish. Am I going to France? Then you must have at least some knowledge of the language before you plan your career in any country, in those countries. Once you go through all these process, get the knowledge of the practice systems in that country and awareness of the laws and regulations, and the ability to practice is important before you do practice. And ethics is also something that they will consider. Ethics in the practice. They have hefty punishments and penalties if one is not ethical in practicing their profession. They can easily take the license if you are not practicing ethically. Code of ethics is very important. And continuing pharmacy education. All these countries, European Union countries, have continuing education programs in place. Some of them are providing the continuing education, and some of them to the employees. Some of them are owner's responsibility, and the other few countries made it as such that it's the pharmacist's responsibility to take the continuing education credentials. In community pharmacy or hospital pharmacies or clinical pharmacies practices, pharmacists and technicians both are working hand in hand actually. They don't, every pharmacy, for example, in my pharmacy, I have 3 branches. I have 30 pharmacy staff under me, and if we take the ratio, 1:4, one pharmacist has 4 technicians. That's the national average here in Denmark. Different countries have different number of pharmacists and technician ratios. All these pharmacy technician education is also recognized, and they have to have proper certifications because they do provide some services. They need some certifications for that. This is pharmacy practice, and in the entire process, legal and regulatory framework for the community pharmacy in the European region. That is also something that you need to look into before you go through or before you get into the career building plan. Because you should know regulations for education, you should know for pharmacy workforce status in that country, and what are the licensing regulations, and how pharmacist registration and authorization is doing. This a compiled information on these things is given in a report here, a WHO report from European office is given here, European Regional Office. I will just show you that report. You can download that, it's free. Then you can start preparing accordingly. This is the WHO report that says the legal and regulatory framework for community pharmacies in WHO region, European region. This is a report that one can download before the plan and study and see what exactly is required for which country, and if any of these countries are interested to you, you can go to that another website, regulatory authorities website in the particular country, and then you can proceed from there to plan your career. Saying this, now one should be aware of what is the approximate work distribution and turnover of the pharmacy. If, for example, if I am serving 100 patients in a day, if you take the turnover of the day or that year that I did my job, 76% of the turnover of any pharmacy will be on the prescription-only medicines, 26%. And 8% is OTC drugs, and 2% is veterinary drugs, 1% is for institutions where we collaborate with the institutions or some small hospitals or clinics. We send them. And also we have 1% for services and other goods like creams and devices and all these things comes to 12% of turnover. This is the total turnover divisions, how the turnover is divided in the pharmacy. This generally applies to other European countries as well, all the European countries. You see, the generic medicine prices are low in Denmark compared to other countries. Here are all the European countries. If you see the generic prices, because here generic substitution is very common by law, we are obliged to give the cheapest generic medicine to the patient. Though if there is a prescription written by the doctor showing the original brand in the letter name, for example, Xarelto for atorvastatin, but the country's insurance system will make it possible for the citizens to offer the cheapest generic medicine because the co-payment system is linked with the generic medicine. So that's how this is working. And ever since 2015-16, Denmark has the cheapest generic price offering to the citizens here in the country. Now let us see the structure, pharmacy structure. The pharmacy is structured with 2 to 3 branches and up to 8 branches. One pharmacy can have 8 branches, and they have different departments. If I take my own example here from Denmark, I have 3 branches and 30 staff members working under me, and we have different departments: home delivery department, health checkup activity, and internet pharmacy, dose dispensing department, safe disposable of unwanted medicine and needles. Home delivery department, as you all are aware, that generic geriatric population, old patients and people, the population is more here in European countries, so most of them would require some assistance to deliver their medicine home. Of course, we are also doing this kind of service in India now, and there is nothing so special about it. But health checkup activity, we do check the we do provide health checkup facility in the pharmacies like blood pressure monitoring and blood sugar monitoring, and also some different psychiatric tests and vaccination. We provide vaccines and we give influenza shots to the patient, but the pharmacist must have the authorization, special certification for that. Not any general pharmacist or pharmacy technician can do the vaccination. It's not possible to do so. One must get a special education, extra education and certification for that, and they have to renew their license every year, renew their certificate every year for doing these services. For example, check on the inhalation process, how a patient is taking their inhalation medicine, nebulizer or asthma sprays, how they are using, are they using it properly to have the compliance and adherence. We do provide these services, and most of these services, pharmacist is being paid by the authorities. And we have another special service here, dosage dispensing department, which is like the pediatric population. They have they get a service that is showing how medicine is taken, or giving the medicine, their medication, in the individual small sachets. That is like this. For example, this is one patient medicine that is rolled up and divided into different small sachets. And you see here, this patient needs to take these things on particular day. This is made for one-time use. For example, this morning or tomorrow morning, if the patient have to take some medicine, all his medication for the morning has come here, and for the afternoon, this is the only pill that one needs to take, the patient needs to take, and this one is for the evening again, like that. Customized dose dispensing is made for the patients. This is very helpful service, and the pharmacist has the total control for this service, and one needs to go and control and regulate if the medicine is sent abroad. the base card that is used to make these roles, is it correct? Is the proper dosage is given? Is there any interactions? Is there any double medication for the same different kind of ailment? Is he getting double medication, or how the medication review management? All these things are part of our day-to-day services. Safe disposal of medicine, unwanted, unused, that is also very important service that is being provided by all the pharmacies. Most of the European countries have this system, because if you, for example, buy some antibiotic, and if you don't use that, if you throw it in the dustbin, then there is higher risk of antibacterial resistance formation. That's the reason these countries are collecting the unwanted medicine and destroying them properly to avoid resistance, or to avoid drug poisoning, to avoid misuse of medicines that are not being used, that are coming into the bins. Just to show you, this is how a pharmacy looks like from outside. The first picture is my main pharmacy, where I'm operating the two other branch pharmacies. For pharmacy practice, language is the main important tool that one needs to be aware of before planning their career in pharmacy practice in any of the European countries. Please remember that, because without the language, we cannot communicate with the patients, and we cannot provide the and other services that I have talked to you earlier. Because we need to interact with the patients all the time. If a patient is in the counter in the pharmacy, then sometimes we would have 20 minutes interview with the patients to check the compliance, or to make the medication review. All these things require intensive communication. Now, this is all about pharmacy practice. Before you take a decision of going into pharmacy practice into any of the European countries, you have to make your plans proper. You have to decide yourself. And please remember, it will take 6 months of internship. And before you start the internship, you also need to plan your language learning skills. One need to have that certificate showing that you are capable of using the local language. So these are the basic important things that one must remember to note and have a checklist about before you plan your career. This is very noble and important and highly respected profession. If you settle down in this profession, then you will have very, very good and great career. But to reach this good career, to grab this opportunity, one needs to plan properly, work very well, do the homework, and have the extra skills to come into the action. So use the material that I have provided, and try to think, if anybody is interested, try to think. Now, we will talk about the industrial opportunities. If somebody has plans to work in the industry, no registration is required. And that means you don't need to be a registered pharmacist in that country that you are going to work. For example, if you go to France or Germany or any Scandinavian country, you don't need to be a registered pharmacist to work in the industry. In industry, there are a lot of opportunities in R&D, clinical research, manufacturing of formulations and APIs, and QC, QA, sales, marketing, and regulatory affairs and pharmacovigilance. There are plenty of opportunities. and but it's important that one needs to have high communication skills and networking, collaboration, publications, and awareness of regulations is very important to succeed or to enter in these areas. For example, if somebody wants to make their career in industry, please plan what you want to do. Make two plans, plan A, plan B, plan C also, it's also fine. Make different plans and try to establish your network, try to establish the contacts with different people who has same area of interest. If you are doing a small project in your Farm D or in your masters, try not to just copy something that you know, or don't make it easy for yourself. Try to establish contact, and that project should be helpful for you to make your career, to build your career. So make the network, make the right connection, attend the conference, and improve your research skills and communication skills, and if possible, try to make publications of your research. Then you are making the publications, evaluating yourself and making yourself more worth or capable of doing research at the higher level, what the Western or the any authority can accept your research. So if you publish a research, then that means there is acceptance for your research skills, for your work. Then career building in other areas like government and the European Union, they have opportunities, plenty of opportunities. For example, inspection of pharmacies or industry, GMP and GMP inspectors or any other regulatory officers, regulatory bodies like EMA and national medicine agencies. They have opportunities for different job opportunities for different categories of education levels. Data analysis and data management is very important here. Every single data is being used. So if you are good at analyzing data, if you are good at managing large bulk data, then you will be getting plenty of opportunities. You can also work as consultant, independent consultant, taking some project or managing some projects. For example, EU and FIP, International Pharmaceutical Federation, or WHO, they always have some project and can be part of them and make a bigger contribution and make your career. EU jobs are generally open for preferably for EU citizens, but if you have these extra skills, add-on skills, IT skills, for example, extra language skills, if you have up-to-date knowledge in the current, if you go to novel drug delivery system, if you are up-to-date and current knowledge, if you have that, then you will have more chances of succeeding in your career building plans. Other areas like academic jobs and research jobs, collaborations between universities and industries, and national associations, with national and international associations, NGOs, EU, European Union offices, WHO offices, IT and data management in different pharmaceutical industries. These are all open opportunities without having any special requirements like language. Because here, yes, of course, language is an add-on to your making your career growth, but if you have all these extra skills like research skills and IT skills, then you will definitely be able to reach more and more higher levels, or you will be moving towards the success very rapidly. But planning is very important. Language tests for admission, for example, all these EU countries have, for example, if somebody wants to go for higher studies, one must have TOEFL or IELTS, like we all know, because English is not our mother tongue. When I was here for 8 years, 7 years, and then I started pursuing my PhD from University of Helsinki, got the admission and everything went through. But after a couple of days, during the registration process, the administrative office has sent a mail saying that it looks like you have a long career and you have been in Europe for several years, though however, your mother tongue is not English. So do you have any documentation or tests showing that you have good communication skills in English? And I had my TOEFL and sent those results to the university. Then I have completed, I got the registration and then I have completed my PhD. That's how it's very important. We don't think sometimes how important is these small things. And research, you do some projects, try to make a habit of making it as publications, and participate in groups, participate in group works, and improve your skills, communication skills, and make debates and collaborate with the departments that have same area of interest. For example, if you are planning to go to Germany, try to find out some department or some experts via LinkedIn or via any other social media or websites, official websites. Go and communicate with them and make a collaboration, make a plan, and share the knowledge with them. They will be definitely willing to help the new graduates. IT skills. Without having IT skills today, having the normal career is, anybody can have a degree, pharmacy degree. But what are the additional skills that you have? That is what everybody will look into. For example, when I came here, this pharmacy had a robot and has 45 computers and two different servers. And there is every day there is small issue, minor or major issue. Some problems are there, and slowly I started resolving these issues because I had my computer diploma, postgraduate diploma in computer applications, and then the manager could easily see that I have add-on skills, because every time if the pharmacy calls for a technical support from outside, then they are paying, they are spending, the running costs are increasing. But if you have in-house technical skills like this, then you are minimizing the cost. That's how you get more and more opportunities. So having these skills, extra skills are important. Please do not use your time on social media for making TikToks or just making some Facebook friends and all. Yes, it is important to have that social contact, but use more time to improve your skills, improve your network, increase your increase finding partners who has same area of interest that you have. These are very important things when you are planning your career. If you see, each country has different websites. I just gave few examples here. Pharmajobs.com and jobindex.dk and programs eurodesk.eu and some job opportunity websites are available here. If anybody is interested, first make your plan where you want to go, then what you want to do there, and then how you can succeed there, how to reach the people, right people, how to get to the right connections, how one can succeed in the area of area that you want to move into. So please do all these basic background work before you take any step. If you want to go for higher education, think about the cost, think about the university, think about the education, think about the plans after you complete your education. Are there good opportunities for the job? If you just go to any Eastern European country, they themselves have problems. All European countries are not having the same opportunities. So try to be very selective on where you want to go, why you want to go, and what you want to do there. These are very, very important things before you do your things. But these are the things I would like to mention about career plans in Europe, and how and what are the areas, how to approach. So please feel free to use the material and contact the management or co-convener Ubaidullah if you need further information about this material or this conference call. If you have any questions, please let me know. I will try to answer in the next couple of minutes. Thank you.
It was a wonderful.
Sir, there are some questions.
Yeah.
Yes, there are some questions asked by us, Madam Anchor, starting. There are some questions. That is there B.Pharm eligible for job in European Union? Is asked by Vinod Kumar. B.Pharm is eligible for B.Pharm is eligible for doing a job there in European Union.
Some countries, most of the European countries, they don't see if it comes to industry and other areas. If it is pharmacy practice, yes, definitely they need 5-year degree, either master degree or pharmacy degree. But if you see, if somebody wants to work in the industry or regulatories or in any others like academic or research, then it's no problem.
Another question is from Ms. Janaki. So, how to approach for industrial sector job there? Is there any special requirement for approach the industrial sector job?
Yes. There is one very important thing that we always forget normally, that is while we are planning, if you decide which country you want to go or which area you are expert, then please start and see. There is no prescribed guidelines on how to approach for a particular job in any country. But when we are making a CV, see what is the job requirement, what is the job profile, what are they looking for. Try to match your skill set with those job requirements. If you don't do that, if you just have a standard format of CV of 5 pages and want to send that to all the companies, then nobody would respond. The best approach is prepare well and study and read and understand the job profile that they are looking for. Once you understand that, match your skills with those requirements. If you are matching at least 75 to 80%, then you have more chances of getting at least an interview call. It will take several applications. We have to send several applications before we succeed, but don't feel bad if you are not succeeding in 1 or 2 or 10 attempts. But while doing so,
Question.
if you are keep trying, you will definitely improve at least your communication skill and also your fine tuning your CV. That's important. Yes, sir.
And one more question, that is there any different languages we need to be expert in to move there? Languages,
Yeah,
specific
that's what,
languages.
Yeah, I have keep focusing on this because if you really want to get into pharmacy practice, yes, then you need to know which country you are going, because each European country has their own language. Denmark has Danish, Finland has Finnish, Germany has German, and French in France. So no one can tell you which language expertise will help you to get into Europe.
And
One can easily come without having any language skills as well, because there are other opportunities. Yes, sir.
And another question raised by Navina is there that pharmacovigilance job widens other than metro area regarding pharmacovigilance, is this widened to other than metro areas? Is asking.
In large cities, it's very common. And also, for example, in Sweden, there is a very big WHO collaborative center, Uppsala. They have that, what do you call, center where they have more job opportunities. For example, also in Denmark, there are different places they have job opportunities. Like, but in rural areas, pharmacovigilance job opportunities are less. I would say that.
And another question is how can you explain how internet pharmacy is working and how they are handling the prescription in internet pharmacy?
Yeah, sure. Internet pharmacies are very popular here, and also they are becoming very convenient. We have an internet pharmacy. And generally, in European countries, pharmacies are handling less handwritten prescriptions. For example, in Denmark, we have a national server, database server, which is doctors are uploading the prescriptions, sending the electronic prescriptions onto the server. Once they have sent the prescriptions, then we have all the access. We have the access to all these individual patient database and as well as to the prescriptions. So internet pharmacies, the patient when they log in, just a minute, sir. When they log in with their social security code, then they can see what are their prescriptions, and then they can further move on and say, okay, now I have a prescription for metformin or simvastatin, and then these are the brands that are available and these are the prices that are available. I can select these and this. Okay, then I will make the purchase for 3 months. The doctor will prescribe for normally for 3 months or 2 months, and then we will be handling that and then sending the information and the medication as well. But we are available for their queries on telephone. Yes, sir.
And one more question: how the supply chain is managed in between the pharmacies?
Very nice and important and interesting question. As I was talking about the career planning, I did not talk about the supply chain management, but here, if you see the Denmark situation, there are only 2 wholesalers in the entire country. Only 2 wholesalers are supplying medicines to all the pharmacies, all the categories of medicine. So they are very efficient, and the database stock status of the pharmacy is live, and it is available to the wholesaler. For example, they can see how many packets of metformin or simvastatin or crocin or paracetamol I have used in last 4 weeks, and what is my expected sale in next 2 weeks. That live database is available. The systems are communicating all the time. They will just send the data to the pharmacy and take the data that is required and see how much is the stock, and then by next morning I will have the required number of packets that I need to use for my patients in the next couple of days. So,
And
without having efficient wholesaler and retailer integration system, then it would not have been possible to work efficiently. We serve 98.5% of all the customers, the patients that come to the pharmacy. They don't go home without having medication. You don't need to wait for next day or 1 week to get this medication. If we don't have something on stock, then we can get the stock within 12 hours, actually. Sometimes within 3 hours. Yes, sir.
And one more question, sir, the last. And you speak about the publications. And is there any criteria for assessment of publications there?
Yeah, it's same like everywhere else. The publications needs to be journals that are having some impact factor, not any journal that is that you can see online. Some unauthorized journals, they are just publishing some data. Don't use them. Just use the proper what do you call journals that have good impact factor.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for clarifying this.
Thank you, sir.
Next, I call upon Kumral, sir. Sir, are you there?
Yeah.
Yes. Vote of thanks. Can you give vote of thanks?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Vijay Kumar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I took this good opportunity for me to take a vote of thanks. My sincere thanks formally to the management of the CL Diagnostic College of Pharmacy to give the permission for the conducting this webinar. Thanks with the great attitude to Dr. Siva Prasad Reddy, a tasked Apotec Pharmacy at Copenhagen, Denmark. They have spoken about the career opportunities for the pharmacy, for the B.Pharm, M.Pharm, or the Pharm students also. He has told about the opportunity available for 27 countries. The opportunity in the practice, industry, and academic, they accepted the government job for the students. It will be highly useful for the all pharmacy students from all over the colleges. And it was amazing to know that 76% of the drug was still selling by only the prescription in this country. Thank you very much, sir. Given very perhaps everything it will be highly useful for the students, not only from for the BPharm and from students also. Thank you very much for sharing a lot of the information and spending your time also. And my sincere thanks to the convener and the principal, the College of Pharmacy, CLB College of Pharmacy, Professor Dr. Grace Ratnam Madam. He is always encouraging and supporting and guiding for this type of academic activity. Thank you, madam. As the madam told during the welcome speech, this webinar is meant to be possible by a person, Dr. Ubaidullah, who is the convener for this webinar and who is instrumental for propelling this webinar also. My special thanks to the R. Sivakumar, who is organizer, and I extend my thanks to all the faculties and the students of our CL Bedmeta College of Pharmacy, and also from the various colleges, the pharmacy college, all the faculties and the students. Almost more than 1,000 students have joined today, and almost 100 the professors have attended this webinar. I thank to all of you once again. Stay safe in your home with your family. God bless you all. Thank you very much to all of you. Thank you.
So, participants, the feedback link will be sent to your mail ID, whatever registered mail ID. You fill the feedback form and send to us, and the certificate will be provided shortly.